We have implemented the strictest measures in all of North America. And the difficult truth is, every public health measure we have left comes with a massive cost to people and their lives. But we have never shied away from doing what's necessary.
We have made the deliberate decision to temporarily enhance police officers' authority for the duration of the stay-at-home order. Moving forward, police will have the authority to require any individual who is not in a place of residence to, first, provide their purpose for not being at home and provide their home address. Police will also have the authority to stop a vehicle to inquire about an individual's reason for leaving their residence.
And our inspectors will also be ensuring that those who absolutely must come to work are strictly following the public health measures. For our employers and employees, take note, this is your last warning.
What? Wow. Canada is a totalitarian hellscape. That didn't take long. Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings. This is Luke Radowski of WeAreChange.org. There's a lot of lunacy in our modern-day world. Australia is also pushing for some very interesting restrictions, while, of course, many in the United States are on edge as a major criminal court case winds down. A lot of people expect a big social unrest fire to start, and while some, like this independent media organization, are trying to calm things down to provide some rational, important information and facts surrounding this case, surrounding the larger divide and conquer agenda, others, well, they're fanning the flames. Yeah, lots to talk about, and that's why we're just going to jump right into the story, starting off in Canada, where you saw the Premier of Ontario, Canada, inform the people that live there that they are going into a full lockdown. Not only massively expanding police powers, extending stay-at-home orders, but also at the same time deciding not to pay for people's sick leave, cutting those benefits down while telling people they can't leave their homes or residencies without a purpose that the government deems okay, or face a hefty fine, fines that usually hurt poor people the most, while rich people get to do whatever they want. There are curfews, checkpoints, inspections, as religious gatherings, weddings, funerals are limited to only 10 people, regardless if they're indoors or outdoors, while also sending inspectors to office places to make sure that only essential workers are inside of a building. And my goodness, golly gracious, in my own personal opinion, this is absolutely absurd. And as some data has suggested, especially with studies found from looking into places like Sweden, Florida, and Texas, with initial findings showing that lockdowns might be even having an adverse effect, causing severe social and economic ramifications that are going to be absolutely devastating. Now, I think one of the bigger stories here that some outlets are missing is the fact that some police departments have responded to this very serious draconian order and said that they will not be complying with it, as many police services even publicly announced that they will not conduct random vehicle or individual searches, interrogations, and stops. And I think it's fair to say that this is definitely a serious situation, that some Canadians are even deciding to take the situation into their own hands by showing up to Niagara Falls at the U.S. border with the Canadian flags turned upside down, sending the Morse code for SOS to the United States. Now, even though the Canadian government has announced that these acts are temporary, we have to remember historically, if you look up the use of emergency powers, they are usually permanent and used not always for their stated purposes. In Australia, the government announced that they are working on plans that people who have gotten the shot, quote, may be able to avoid a hotel quarantine and potentially could do a home quarantine if they get an ankle bracelet that will monitor and watch every one of their moves. Yep, highlighting yet another incident of the government absolutely not trusting you while expecting your full trust in them. Now, I definitely have a lot of things to say about this. I can't say them here on this platform, so I'm going to save my comments for LukeUncensored.com, our exclusive website with videos just made for the people who join our website for 50 cents a day. Doesn't cost you much, helps us out tremendously, and helps us expand and grow these operations, which your support is critically important for. Today's video will most likely either come out later tonight or tomorrow, but to find out when the new videos come out exclusively on Luke Uncensored, make sure to sign up on our free email list, where periodically I will also be giving you samples and full videos that people usually get when they are signed up. The link to signing up on the email list is also in the description below. Click on it right now, sign up, cost you nothing, and allows us to be absolutely impervious and talk about stories like this and this, which are absolutely horrifying and have to deal with the company that we are currently on. As of course, Google will soon be rolling out a fact-checking label to its news search results, which essentially will make them the arbitrator of truth, which is extremely dangerous since, of course, truth can be subjective many times. We have seen a lot of manipulation. We have seen a lot of wrongdoing being pronounced as fact. We've been told that the air was safe to breathe. We were told there was weapons of mass destruction. We were told that they were in Afghanistan. We were told we needed to bail out the bankers. And guess what? The institution, the establishment, all forced that as truth against the general public when people who voiced their concerns against it or asked questions about the legitimacy of those claims, well, they were censored, and they most likely will be censored more, especially with these larger moves that will soon deem anything that's not from the establishment narrative as most likely false. Now, again, this is most likely what I think will be happening. Now, one reason why that absolutely matters to me is because when you get to decide what is, quote, true and what is not true, that is essentially incredible power that, of course, could be abused. And some people say that Google is already abusing that power, as perfectly illustrated by Google's and DuckDuckGo search results for riots after, of course, riots took place in Minnesota. And on the day of the riots, when you typed in riots today, Google first gave you stories about January 6th and not about the riots that actually happened in Minnesota. DuckDuckGo actually told you about the riots. Now, when stuff like this happens and people becoming less and less aware of the larger consequences of the agenda being pushed against them, when people are being denied information about what is actually happening on the date that it's happening at, there's a lot of room for concern, especially with how on edge everyone is awaiting for the end of the Derek Chauvin trial in Minnesota. Many police departments are preparing for the worst, including the New York City Police Department that just told its officers that there will be no unscheduled days off, as their officers and many other officers across the country are told to prepare for the worst. Potentially more civil unrest, more protesting that erupts in rioting, as of course we have seen all of last summer dominate all of the United States, as some people even estimate that 19 to 35 people have died during the riots last year, as of course there was massive property destruction, massive looting, massive crime, which by and large I would say was obfuscated by the establishment, trying to classify these events as, quote, peaceful, while obfuscating some of the real damages. Now, even just a few moments ago, there was a riot, according to police officers, that was declared in Portland as a group of protesters lit fires, smashed downtown windows after yet another police-related shooting. And with paying close attention to the Derek Chauvin trial, seeing the evidence, the counter-arguments, it really looks like to me and other legal analysts that this case is far more complicated than the mainstream media wants to make it. The mainstream media usually likes to focus on the larger narrative against Derek, but when you look into this story, it is far more complex, and according to some legal experts, there's a chance that Derek Chauvin could even walk. And if that happens, many people are expecting more civil unrest. And with the utter chaos and destruction that happened last year, there should be a concerted effort to tell both sides of the story, to understand this situation fully, and to try to calm people down by providing some rational conversations that could de-escalate this situation. And that's absolutely not happening, with some utter nonsense being spewed on national television by Chris Cuomo, the brother of Andrew Cuomo, the New York governor, who is stirring the pot of the civil unrest divide and conquer agenda by recently saying that, quote, white people's kids need to start getting taken out to, quote, prompt police reform. I'm not kidding you.
George Floyd, Daunte Wright. I wonder if you'll remember their names 6 months from today, because they'll be replaced by so many others. You're here, people. What are you going to do when you see these shootings? You know what you're going to do. Your kids start getting killed. White people's kids start getting killed. Smoking that doobie that's actually legal probably in your state now, but they don't know what it was. And then the kid runs and the pop, 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 pop. Cop was justified. Why'd you run? Oh, he had a baseball game tonight. Oh, a white kid. Oh, big family. That house over there. Those start piling up. What is going on with these police?
Wow. Talk about sensational and hyperbolic. And of course, a lot of people are responding to this particular statement by Como with this particular screenshot from Fox News highlighting that white people do get shot more than police officers. Now, there's different data and statistics. Some of them are accurate, some of them are not accurate. A lot of this hasn't even been adjusted by population and crime stats, which I think provides some accurate descriptions. But without even needing to go there, this kind of emotional lambastment, it's not productive to say the least. It doesn't help anyone to say the least, and it only escalates the situation that we currently have on our hand that is sure to get out of hand, especially with all the emotional manipulation behind it. Congresswoman Maxine Waters also hasn't helped out the situation, as she's telling protesters to, quote, get more confrontational over the Derek Chauvin trial, which this entire situation has already caused massive amount of conflict and pain for the entire United States, especially last summer, with incredible amounts of violence in response to this entire situation. But Maxine Waters wants more confrontation, which is absolutely mind-boggling and insane, and as many people say, pushing for incitement.
Well, we got to stay on the street, and we've got to get more active. We've got to get more confrontational. We've got to make sure that they know that we mean business.
Now, I know she wants a guilty plea, but to promote and push for more confrontation, if she doesn't get her way, when the situation is already so tumultuous, so dangerous, it is absolutely, utterly irresponsible to be doing such things, since, of course, they will be creating harm. As, of course, we have seen many people on social media, even in the streets, even during official BLM events, call for, and for some reason, those posts, those calls for violence, for people to get hurt, well, they don't get censored by big tech. What does get censored is criticism of the overall larger movement, as recently highlighted by Facebook censoring a story from the New York Post exposing how a BLM founder was buying homes in predominantly white neighborhoods with the money that was donated to her. An Apple store in Portland that literally turned itself into a BLM memorial, allowed artists to come from the community to paint murals on it, was set on fire just last night during, of course, BLM rioting. Foot Locker that donated $200 million to BLM causes that tries to pretend to be woke and promotes the ideology, they again had their store looted. And when you look at some of the biggest multinational corporations, whether from the CIA, from Goldman Sachs to Amazon to Walmart, Google, Facebook, McDonald's, no matter who it is, they are shelling out large swamps of money for this organization that has been a part of a movement that has created a lot of chaos, pushed for racial division, disharmony, doing almost the exact opposite of what they claimed to do, as of course more and more people are seeing a problem with other people's skin color rather than, of course, the merits of their character. And as we fight amongst petty differences, contrived situations, promoted hashtags, the latest nonsense on the trending list, the police state is only becoming more stronger and emboldened as the government looks to take away more of your rights as people fight each other rather than, of course, seeing the true source of their problems and upper echelons of elites that benefit off of you, not focusing on them, holding them accountable, calling them out, or even understanding the very big, important actions that they are making against you. And in that, that's some utter bullcrap. Stay safe out there, stay prepared. I don't claim to know what's going to happen. There could be a decision Monday. There could be a decision further out, as of course the decision is in the jury's hand. We can only hope that justice prevails, no matter what side you are on, and that peace prevails. Will that happen? Well, just being frank with you, probably not. What do you think will happen? Let me know down in the comment section below. I always appreciate your comments, your constructive criticism, your input. It truly means a lot. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't you actively watching and sharing these videos out to your friends and family members. Because of some of the stories that we share, because of some of the stories that we talk about, we're obviously not in the best of positions on this platform, but again, the truth matters more than anything else. And if you appreciated it, share this video. Random strangers, doesn't matter. Someone spams you, you spam them back with this video. Because you do, I'm still here. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you, and this is why. I love you guys. Stay tuned for more here on WeAreChange.org.